Bitcoin lost value and dropped to $52,000. That was the bottom of the channel structure that went down. We bounced off the bottom of that descending channel pattern and also off of a very important weekly chart support zone for the RSI that looked like a descending wedge. After that bounce, we were able to build an upward trend on the 4-hour chart for the medium term. Which time frame you look at doesn't really matter. The truth is that the upward trend was made up of a higher low right there and a higher high, which we just marked at 66K. That is a very strong trend going up. Now this structure of an upward trend was supported at a deeper level. This help right here. I'll even make it pink so you can see it. From the week of September 7th, it goes down to 52K. It kept Bitcoin going up during every period of going down. We are now showing signs of weakness on this pullback, and it looks like we might break it to the downside. That means Bitcoin could go down in value. This is 52K's first real move to fix things. Is that a bad thing? Should I be worried about that? The answer is no. We actually looked at this yesterday and made it very clear that we would either start adjusting from 66 or from the top of the channel itself, which is around 68. That fix looks like it starts at 66. After that, we just need to find a good place for this correction to go. Of course, if it drops too low, that means things are not going well. The fact that this is rolling over and we're going back down is a sign of this. And that would be terrible because we were just starting to go up. So what are the conditions of this fix? Where does it belong? What is going on? In general, what do the charts look like? All of that will be talked about today. Guys, I want to make a point before we start. The Telegram VIP group is for sale right now, right? The VIP group used to cost $300 USD, but now it only costs 225 USD until April 1st, 2019. 4 trade alerts are sent to you every week. Over the last 2 years, those trading signs have won 78.39% of the trades they were used for. Very, very good stuff there. You will also be able to use a group chat. See about becoming a VIP member. It's been on sale for about 4.5 days. You don't have much time left, so if you want to do that, go ahead. It's okay if not. Let's go back to the matter at hand. So before we look at this fix, we need to give you some background on cycles. At least that's how it looks right now. Bitcoin is likely getting back on track with the 4-year cycle. It doesn't have to be true though. We might not know it yet, but the 4-year loop might have been broken behind the scenes. But it looks like we're back on track with the 4-year cycle right now. We started this year by going against the 4-year cycle by a huge amount. We reached the peak in March at 73K, which was a lot faster than expected. Most of the time we don't hit all-time highs before half. We've never done that before. I think everyone knows that we move very quickly and much earlier than planned. We can look at the last 2 rounds if we want to get a sense of the date range. I also know that 2 rounds isn't really a trend. For a trend, but given the underlying trends in what I'm measuring here, which are the 4-year cycle trends that we've looked at a lot of times in this channel. I'll flick it on the screen for you to see. With all of these trends shown on the screen, it does make sense to only use 2 data points to compare breaks from all-time highs to other all-time highs. Let's do that right now. And then I'll make up my mind. There I'll explain it a little better because what I just said might not have been clear to you. It took about 1,100 days from the all-time high in 2013 to the next cycle's break of that all-time high. Okay, this time it took 1,100 days again. In this case, we have a clear trend. Even though there are only 2 data points, they show a bigger trend. It has been known for a long time that it takes 1,100 days to break through the all-time high set during the last bull market. It didn't take 1,100 days this time. It really only took 850 days, which means we were 250 days ahead of plan in March. This is likely the best answer you'll get for why there has been so much consolidation here. Okay, I went up way too quickly. I needed to take a huge break to get back on track. We would only break all-time highs in November if we took 1,100 days like we did in the last 2 years. I'll say more about Bitcoin's dominance in a moment, but for now, I want to make the point that even though we've seen a lot of consolidation, it's already the beginning of October, we're still consolidating. We haven't broken out of the channel formation, so it's still not enough. it looks like we might still be able to combine for another month. That would put us back on track. There are 30 to 40 days left until the due date. We were still 250 days ahead of schedule. And now we're about 30 to 40 days ahead of plan. To be dominant in Bitcoin is the same thing. When we look at Bitcoin's power, it's also important to note that the 4-year cycle definitely points to a peak in October 2025. About 300 days pass between altcoin seasons when Bitcoin is the most popular coin. If it were to last 300 days, which it would if we reach the top in October 2025, it would begin in November. After that, it's clear that a Bitcoin all-time high rise would happen at the same time as an altcoin season. Also, an altcoin season is a clear reflection of how people feel, which is happiness, greed, and parabola. Okay, there are cyclical charts that explain everything about Bitcoin's price action since 2012. I've used the word underpin 4 times in this movie. Maybe you didn't notice that before, but now you do. Then there are the big trends that have given us so much information about Bitcoin's past highs and lows. These trends say that the best time for an all-time high rise would be around November, give or take. Now, breaking it next week wouldn't be the end of the world, would it? Because there is room for mistake in that. However, it's not really the end of the world if we don't either, since the event is planned to take place in November. We're on the right track as long as it happens between, say, October and December. See the correction here? This is where I'll get back to the subject of the movie. Bitcoin is seen, have trouble with 66K, break down from 65K, and have trouble with maybe not losing a very important rising support line from a short-term move just yet. I've seen Bitcoin try to drop again to the bull market support band, and Ethereum failed to break through a major resistance zone at around $2,700. You can see this red major resistance zone right there on the screen. The 3 of them meet pushback above just as they break out of a major descending channel formation. Issue yet, since we shouldn't really expect them to break outwards just yet. All of this is just normal price movement then. Since we haven't really broken out yet, it seems like it's not a problem at all to see adjustments before or during a breakout, especially after about 3 weeks of straight up moves. So the changes we are seeing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and total 3 don't bother me at all. I believe it is totally normal. Where do I think Bitcoin can go and still be safe? That's a different question. We're going to talk about that now. I want to be very clear now. At this point, Bitcoin hasn't even really broken down yet. When we look at